MMAOddsBreaker. Today we got Tim Means on, getting ready to fight George Sullivan, coming up here on UFC on Fox number 15, April 18th, Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, blah, 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 blah. Are you following any of the news lately, with how it's going in New York, trying to get MMA legalized in New York? Have you caught the last couple of days?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, but hopefully that Madison Square Garden opens up. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this could very easily be one of the last fights in Jersey, because I don't see them going back to Newark if Madison Square Garden opens up. Like, why would you stay on one side of the bridge? We can cross the bridge now and be in Madison Square. I mean, it just makes so much more sense. Would it be like a pretty good bit, to get a knockout over George Sullivan on the last card that was in Newark before it makes the move over to New York?
Yeah, definitely leaving a stamp with that, and then just knocking him out in his backyard. That would be cool too. So
Yeah, and that's one of the uphill battles for you. Like, this is George's spot.
yeah,
Does that really bother you though? Does that really make you think about, I'm going into somebody's enemy territory? Do you kind of worry about that kind of stuff?
I think if you look at my last 8 fights, it's been in someone's backyard. So I'm excited to go and be the hometown spoiler. It's just something I look forward to doing. So
I'm
this is a
sorry.
cool thing.
I thought it was your last 7 fights. I didn't realize it was the last 8. I thought every fight that you fought the last 7 times was somebody else's backyard. I didn't realize it was the last 8. Actually, I missed one. But
Well, it could be 7. I might be overshooting it, but it's got to be at least 10 fights on my record that I went in someone's backyard and threw hooks with them. So going into someone's house and opening up the refrigerator and not asking is a lot funner.
no,
Not getting arrested for it. So
right? That's the best part about it.
yeah.
I'm looking at your record right now. I'm going through it. I think you're right. I think it was your last 8 fights were in somebody else's house. Every single fight. From Masvidal on. I'm pretty sure Castillo was for sure. Pete Spratt was. Young was.
Yeah, Young was, Ty
Magny was.
Brown, King of the Cage,
Yeah, Jesus.
Matt. Yeah, it's someone's backyard, man. I enjoy the pressure, and I just it makes the incentive of getting up and having to go run and stuff because I'm gonna go and try to piss off a lot of people.
What is running the hardest part for you of training camp? The one thing everyone has something they don't like about training camp is running what it is for you.
Running's cool for a couple days, and then you get into the run, you just want it to get done. So I've switched to swimming and mountain biking quite a bit more, especially trying to save the knees.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say running does suck. I don't like it all that much.
Did you see the article that came out with Jamie Varner talking about he sparred too much when he was younger and that's why he had to retire so early? He felt like he was doing way too much sparring, way too much overtraining. Did you see that article from Jamie?
I seen a headline on it. Yeah, I did.
Do you believe in that too? Like guys now, especially with the new science and the way that things are coming out with MMA and the new diets and stuff, and how we're trying to get a lot more scientific as athletes. Do you feel like that sparring should be there should be a lot less sparring happening than it used to be?
I'm sparring hard like once every 3 weeks, man. We kicked the hard sparring completely out, and it's mainly just drilling. I'm drilling. Get put in bad positions, drill, and the hard sparring is far to none now. So I see a lot of truth behind that.
So we went, in the very beginning of when I started fighting, it was 5-6 days of hard sparring. Then as I got older, I was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. I'm down to 2 days of hard sparring, and I should have done even less. How do you feel? I mean, it's obviously been working for you. It's not like it's something that's been difficult. But how long have you been doing it? This kind of style where hard sparring has been pushed back, 3 weeks ago.
It started with the Pete Spratt fight about 2 weeks before Pete Spratt is when we switched things up and decided to go a different route. Because I was going into all my fights hurt. I was 80% running into most of those fights, elbow injuries, hand injuries. I fought Hernani Perpetua with a busted hand. So
Wow.
definitely gotten smarter with that, and it's really paying off. I think against Diego Lima and Marcel Alexandre was the healthiest I felt going into those fights, and I see a lot of truth behind hard sparring takes the life out of your legs and it takes the life out of your career. So with doing it, with how we've been changing up practices and stuff, I feel a real difference.
For the folks at home, the Pete Spratt fight was back on September 13th of 2013. So 2 weeks before that, beginning of September of 2013 is when he made the change. And then we saw with the Marcelo Alexander fight how much better you were because you really had to steal, in my opinion, you really had to steal that decision. It ended up being a split decision, and you really had to convince one more judge to lean your way. You really had to go out there and steal it from him. And a guy that was at 80%, that would have fought at 80% couldn't have done it because you wouldn't have had the energy. You had the energy, you had the ability, and being not as hurt, do you feel like sometimes you can think better and see how the fight is going better as well?
I do. I feel like when I'm getting hit with punches and I'm returning fire back is almost instantly rather than the delayed reaction of getting caught and then throw and miss something. Now I'm throwing and the target's still there. So I think that firing in the brain is definitely there. The more calories or not as much movement to the brain. I see the guys wearing the big face guards and boxing and stuff. But even when I'm wearing one of those, somebody barely catches one. It's knocking my head around. Even just light punches. So I just don't see. I don't see the good in it. So
even now, obviously, there's no point in me to spar hard. There's no reason for me to go out there and hit anybody. So I do a lot of feathering. I do a lot of punching. A lot of drilling kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'll get a wild hair at my butt, like maybe once a month. I'll go spar, and I'm like, wow, man, if I could spar like this all the time, I'd still be fighting. But it's because it's been a month since the last time I've actually done any hard sparring. It's been a month, and I'm taking time off and doing these things that I should have done in training camp. And I got to be honest with you, Tim, man, it has been a huge difference. You can see the difference in your fighting and your style and your recovery between fights even, that you're able to come back so much quicker and get back in the room so much better. Even after a hard-fought fight, you're still able to get back in there quicker because you weren't so beat up beforehand.
But right, you're not having to recover after practices from being in a fist fight. Yeah. There's a lot of that goes into it too that people just aren't paying attention to, or they're not. They think that I keep hearing this saying that iron sharpens iron, and that's garbage. If you look into that, you have to have a good flat stone to sharpen the sword, and that's my drilling. That's my double end bag. That's my ladder drills. That's my stone, and that's how I'm going to sharpen my sword. And this constant, you have to keep bashing your head together to sharpen iron. It's a retarded saying, and it makes no sense.
What you just said makes complete sense. I've never thought of it that way. I need a flat stone to sharpen my sword, so let me just use a flat stone. And that's pretty awesome. I haven't heard it put that way. That's probably the best way to explain it, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
Was it difficult? I mean, you were hurt during the Pete Spratt fight, and you only had 2 weeks to go, and I'm sure at that point you're like, I need a break anyway. I need to back off on this because I'm at the end of my training camp anyway. Was it hard, though, when you're getting ready for the Young fight to really put that in your head, hey, we got to back off the hard sparring? Because that's where you were trained beforehand, was to always go hard. Did you have a hard time making that transition?
Yeah, your pride gets involved in your ego. You're the P word, and all these words are popping up in your head. Yeah. But ultimately, when you can swallow that pride and you can stop putting that stress and that pressure on you, it really opens up a lot of other doors. And I know I can take a punch, and I know I can put myself through hell, so I don't have to prove that to myself anymore. That's been proven. So the things I'm doing wrong, my takedown defense or shooting a takedown, my coach has me shooting 500 double legs a training camp, So we're going to constantly drill the moves till the go-to moves are right, and then we're going to find the other problems and drill those problems. And drilling is everything, and it's become a huge asset.
Well, how do you see your drilling going to help you with George Sullivan? Because does he pose any problems that are different? Is he good in an area that you haven't seen, very often in fights? Now we know in practice we see a lot more things in practice than we do in the actual fight. Is there anything about George that's different than anything you've actually seen in a fight?
It looks like he has big power, man. He throws everything through the fence, tries to take you out with it. The one thing he doesn't do good is he doesn't do good at going backwards when he's getting thrown on. He has weird defense. He's all over the place. But I actually have a training partner named George, and they look identical. The only thing's different is the last name and their tattoos. The body structure, the height, everything's the same. So I've been seeing George for many years now, and now I just need to go fight the other George. I think it's a cool matchup. I think the guy is going to stand in front of me and try to take my head off, and I just got to make him miss.
You're 6'2", fighting at once. It's super tall for the weight class, and then he's 6 foot. Have you fought any other guys that are about that same height besides Lima, who's the same height as well? But before Lima, was there anybody else that was about that height that you had to compete against?
Well, like that height or taller, you mean?
Yeah, like 6 foot or taller.
I think Alexandre was 6 foot. Hernani Perpetua was 6 foot. So I've been seeing a lot of it. My training partners I have now, 6'4". We got a couple of those guys 6'3". So the double in bag, when I'm working the double in bag, it's up at my head level, so I'm not punching down on stuff. So my coaches have really done a good job at bringing in the right looks and just ultimately training right and not having to worry about injuries or being banged up. I'm gonna turn around, get into this fight. I feel good. My cardio feels good. Ironically, I was only like 16 pounds over when I got the call.
Wow.
So I'll just start cutting weight eventually.
Really good because we've always talked about the rumor is out now that GSP is not going to be back in the game at all. That he used to walk around at 185, and that's his walk around weight, to fight at 170. You're walking out 16 pounds over, dude. That's great. That's awesome. When you get a phone call, hey, I'm only 16 over. Like I'm already in training camp weight. That's a huge difference between being. The rumor was with Johnny Hendricks, he's walking around at 210, 215, trying to make 170, and then get a phone call, oh yeah, I got to fight. Let me cut all his weight off, and it shows in his fights as it gets later. He starts falling apart. He starts getting exhausted. He still wins, still an awesome competitor, but just the weight cut is what hurts. You look
at a lot of my fights, man. They're last minute fights, and I was doing that at 160, 155. Yeah. And a lot of my fights, I can do that a lot better at 170. I'm constantly in the gym. And, minus I was eating good, but I was also taking in a lot of chocolate. So, it was kind of hard to put those down, but, it's a payday. And, I'm excited to get after this.
Well, Tim, it's showing. The science you're putting behind your training camps is starting to show. You're every time you come out there and fight, you're getting better. Even when you fought Neil Magny and lost that decision, I still saw the improvement in your style, your technique, and your confidence in what was happening. So even your losses, I can still see how much better you're getting every time you fight. And for you, honestly, I don't think you've hit your full potential yet. I still think you're going to keep getting so much better every time that you fight. And you got to know this as well, that when you're fighting, like, hey, I still have a lot to grow. I still have a lot more to go. I can still be even better. Is that a little scary sometimes when you're in training camp? Like, I have so much more to get from this?
As soon as I can show that potential, as soon as I can become the fighter I am in the gym, comfort level, the moves I'm pulling off, as soon as the world sees that guy, it's going to be a terrifying moment for any fighter in the division. So I'm building a lot of confidence. I know the tools I have. Just got to keep getting out there, getting under the lights, and keep getting better with training, man. And things are falling into place. I love to fight, and I'm actually getting to pay myself to get in fights rather than the other way around now. So it's pretty cool.
Tim, thanks so much for coming on with MMAOddsBreaker, man. It's gonna be a great pleasure. I can't wait to watch your fight, April 18th. It's gonna be another barn burner, and nothing. Like as always, I always make a prediction. I don't see this fight getting much out of the second round. I just don't see it. I don't think he's got because George's go for broke on every one of his punches is gonna make him exhausted. It's gonna make him tired because it's a lot of heat to come at you at one time, especially when he starts missing and getting full whiffs, and then you're gonna be able to start picking him apart. End of the first, beginning of the second. Try to put him away by the end of the second. At least that's my prediction.
It's a hell of a prediction. I'm gonna go with that.
Good. I want.
So thanks for talk, man.
You got it. All I want is 10% of the knockout of the night bonus. That's all I'm asking.
All right. I'll give you that, man. Okay, I appreciate it.
You got it, Tim. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Later, man.